Now, meantime, something pretty big happened this weekend, which is that Australia effectively cut Taiwan loose. Now, think about how the reason we had to be involved in Ukraine was because if Russia gets away with it, then China will somehow turn around and take Taiwan. Well, amazingly, today our Defence Minister says that Australia reiterates the one China policy. Now, either this has always been the policy, and if that's the case, then we were never invested in Taiwan being able to be its own country, or if it's a change, it's a major change. Here he is today on TV.
I interviewed the former ADF General Gus McLaughlin. His view is that China overstepped the mark in a sense, in a military sense. Do you have the same view as to those exercises that occurred?
Again, I would not really want to speculate on all of that. Our principal point here is wanting to see a de-escalation of tensions, and it's not really speculating about what may or may not happen in the future. What we want to see is a return to normal peaceful behaviour, but as I've said, what underpins that from Australia's point of view is not wanting to see any unilateral change to the status quo across the Taiwan Strait. Now that means that we have a one China policy. That's been the status quo.
So what does all that blather mean? Well, according to the BBC, when they define what is the one China policy, it says this. It is the diplomatic acknowledgement of China's position that there is only one Chinese government. Under the policy, the US recognises and has formal ties with China rather than the island of Taiwan, i.e. it's not a country, which China sees as a breakaway province to be reunified with the mainland one day. So this has either always been the Australian position, which I fear it may well have been, or it's now an underlining of that position from the new government. So what exactly is all of our conversations about China about? Do you notice, by the way, the great difference between the previous government and this government about, I don't really want to talk about it, I don't want to get involved. And they use the word that the Greens use, which is de-escalation. So simultaneously, help me out. They want to de-escalate a situation where there is no war right now between the West and China trying to keep Taiwan on its own 2 feet. There is a war between Russia and Ukraine that we are not de-escalating, we are sending hundreds of millions of dollars worth of military technology to. So de-escalation only applies to China, not to Russia. We're going to talk about this a lot this week.